Finally, we go to the first class on the ground, and I go to the ground on top, the top position. And like we saw in the previous class, we spoke a lot about keep the fight standing and using BJJ to control your aggressor and maybe just control, maybe run, maybe submitting, but always avoid go to the ground because you don't know how many people are coming after you, and it's not good to be locked on the ground. But that said, it's important to understand that many times the fight goes to the ground, even if it's not your will or your aggressor's will, because it's very easy to just fall on the ground. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the best martial art to understand how to protect yourself and come back, stand up as soon as possible to be in a safe position. Even the other grapplers arts, when they go to the floor, let's say if they go on bottom, they stand up giving the back, which is pretty dangerous. So let's say if I fall on bottom, he's on top. Even if he doesn't know how to fight and I turn and try to stand up, he can punch me, he can knee me, kick me, so it's pretty dangerous. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the only martial art that you can keep safe and stand up safe. Okay? And right now we're gonna do the first class of ground fight, but when I'm on top. So let's say he come to punch me or do something, and we do that double leg that we did previously in the other class. I fall into what we call guard. I'm gonna push, and I wanna control him. I'm gonna push turn a little bit, his knee with my forearm. Then I have one leg between my legs, push the other one, and mount. This is what we call mount. And now is where the things start to become a little bit more tricky. Even if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but you just do sport Jiu-Jitsu, you don't know how to do self-defense well, and that's where I bring my experience inside the cage to the self-defense world. And first thing we gotta understand how is here is how is the distribution of your weight. So that's the first thing. So I will say what I don't want to do. I don't want to be too much on his chest, because if he move, let's say, I will be too light, and also he can push me, go with his legs on me and do something to try to escape. And also I don't want to sit on his belly, because if I sit on his belly, same thing, every movement, let's say he start to sit and push me, I'm gonna fall back. If he lifted his hips, I move more than I want, because I'm in his center of gravity. So what I want to do, I want to transfer the weight to my knees. But how I do that? I do that by bending my body a little bit to the front and use my hands on the ground. Look now, if he moves, it's much better, much easier for me to keep the position. If he moves sideways to try to flip me over, I need just to open my hand, and once the side that he goes, I like also go to open a little bit my knee to get my base even better. But it's easy to keep him under me. What I don't want is like to grab him, which is a very common reaction if you don't train Jiu-Jitsu, is grab the guy, because then he will turn and you're gonna fall on bottom. So what I wanna do is spread my arms and keep my weight on my knee. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, let's say he pushed my chest, because you see my chest on him, he get a little bit suffocated because he doesn't like my chest to close. He start to push. If I stay here, he also is gonna start to sit and take me away and pull me away, push me away. So what I do, and that's a very basic, all the jiu-jitsu practitioners know that you can do like what you call like a pummeling here with the arms, and every time you deflect his power, and come back to the same position, right? And there is one more situation, is when he pushed me on my armpit. So once he pushed that, look, I cannot place this one on the ground. So what I do, I'm gonna use my grip behind his neck as anchor. So when he pushed me, look, I'm gonna grab his neck. He goes to the other side, look, I grab his neck. He goes to that side, look, I open my hand, open my knee, grab his neck. So right now, we know about the weight distribution, okay? We know about how to avoid his grips and his trying to turn me. And let's talk about what I wanna do from here right now, okay? So let's say I have, in this course, I don't wanna beat the guy, I wanna just control or escape of the aggression. So if I wanna just control, I can just stay here, okay? But let's say, with these controls, let's say I want to stand up. So now it's important to understand how you stand up. It's not just, and that's different from the traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, that you always want to stay here. But in a real situation, sometimes you don't want to stay here because there is another friend of this guy coming to beat you. So you want to stand up, you want to run away. There is more than a guy, there is many guys. So what I do here, I cannot just stand up like this because he can just, hold my leg and don't let me escape. And maybe he grabs me and I end up going down and I'm not able to escape. So what I want to do is to stand up. But before I do that, I want him to don't be able to use his hand to grab me. So let's say I'm here, okay, what I'm gonna do, I have two basic options. The first one is I can punch him, and that's now what I'm gonna talk a little bit more, because I have a lot of experience on this matter, and I saw so many, even me when I started my career, I saw, the mistakes that all the jiu-jitsu fighters do when they go to punch. They end up in this mount position and they say, okay, I'm gonna punch him, I can punch him, because if I punch him, let's say, I punch, he protects his stand, and then I can put my toes on the ground and stand up if I need, okay, and wait on other guys or run away. But how I make his hands goes here, and first option is to punch, and sometimes it's very common, jiu-jitsu guy comes here and thinks punch is just, throwing punches, and you don't have to care too much. But you gotta realize, when you punch in here, if you do too much power, look how my body distribution changed totally. And that's very, very common. That happens to me in my second fight many times from the half guard. That happens to many world champions when they move into MMA. They go to punch, they put too much energy, and they don't know that that's a position like any other position, like a guard pass, like a sweep. When you punch, you do a position, not just throwing punch. There's a technique on that. So if you don't know how to do that and you put too much energy, look what happens. Something that never happens in a sport jiu-jitsu situation. You never change your way to here, so you're not used with that. That's why so many jiu-jitsu fighters, they lose the mount when they go to punch. So if I want to just punch him to make him defend, I don't want to be, do big punches. I want to do a small punch. So I'm here, it's just here. Okay, side punch to his ear, and then I put my toes on the ground, stand up, right? Other thing that I don't want to do, that is not, doesn't come from MMA, but for like if the people are fighting or are defending themselves against aggression in the street, if you go to a straight punch too strong, he can maybe, his reaction will be to lift his hips, and you're gonna end up punching the ground, which normally is a pretty tough ground, and you're gonna break this hand. That's a very common thing that happens in street situations. So remember everything we talk about like the weight distribution. I weight the weight on the knee here. Boom. All the ways to avoid if he goes to the side, just open a little bit the knee and the hand spread. If he push my chest, 1, 2. If he push my armpit, grab the hand, okay? And now how I punch, just short punch here. Oh, and he stand up, okay? Another way to stand, if you don't wanna punch, you don't wanna any damage to the aggression, what you can do, you can go with one hand to his neck. But same thing, look, when I place my hand here, if I keep my weight in the center and he grabs my hand, I don't have any post in that side. So when I do that, at the same time I transfer my weight to the other hand, because to that side he cannot bump me, try to go that way, because I have my hand. And to that side, go to that side, no problem, because I have my weight here. And then from here he's gonna defend my hands and I can stand up and run away. Okay, so remember guys, I saw that happen so many times and that happens to me. I'm saying that because I have experience on that. All the jiu-jitsu fight, especially if you just train sport jiu-jitsu, punching on the ground to open space is not so easy like it looks. It makes you lose position if you don't know how to do well. And I don't need to just say that you guys can watch many BJJ champions and world champions losing positions in a fight because of that. So even I did in the past. So short punches, okay? I'm not worrying about the punches, I'm worrying about just protecting himself. I don't want to knock him out. Toes on the ground, stand up. If I don't need, I can stay here just controlling, okay? Or hand to the neck, transfer the weight to the other side, toes on the ground, stand up, okay? We go into the second class of the ground fight when you're on top. And if you didn't see the previous one, it's very important because everything you're gonna talk right now is related to the first class of that. Okay, so let's come back and start exactly like the last class. When he comes to punch me, I do the double fall on between his legs, which we call guard, okay, like we did before. So also, if you didn't see this class of punching the fence, it's important you come back. So, and then I go to the mount, pass one leg, pass the other one. I'm not focused too much on this because I want to focus on the mount position. So when we talk in the last class, we talk about how is my weight distribution here should be, how I avoid his pushes, okay, when he pushed me here, or he just try to turn or sit, and how to stand up if I need, if there is more people coming to attack me and I just felt in that position and I wanna just stand up again, and I don't wanna just stand up because he can't hold my legs when I stand up and maybe, you know, flip me over or just hold me tight waiting for his buddies to come. So one thing that I said we should do is about the weight distribution. I don't want to sit on his belly because every time he moves, he moves me and it's easy for him to stand up, and I don't want to go too high. So if you know, this is in the previous class, and I'm gonna transfer my weight to the front and put my hands on the ground. The hands here are important, not just because, you know, I avoid him to turn here like we spoke in the last class, but also because if my hands are kind of relaxed here and he bumps, I hit my hand to the concrete, which can be really bad. Okay, so this is also protection because he's gonna be freaking out here at first to escape, and you need to control and make him lose his energy if you want just to control, if you don't want to escape. And another thing that he can do here is try to hold you, okay, try to grab your body. So because I'm low here, he can hold me and he can try to turn me. So let's say right now it's even more important my hands, because if I relax here, he can really bump his belly and I'm gonna hit the ground, because now he has all my body control. So what I do here now is I really use my straight arms. It's important to lock your arms straight, to push against his legs. Look what happens now. Try to lift. No way, it's much harder because now I'm controlling with my hips his legs. Okay, so I push backwards. I'm not sitting, I'm pushing backwards his leg, and my weight still on my knees and my hands, but the force is against his legs. Okay, so that's the first thing. If he's freaking out too much, what I wanna do, I'm gonna go what we call low mount. That, you know, many jiu-jitsu practitioners know that there's more control here because I have the hook, so I'm controlling his legs. It's much harder for him to flip me. And also, even if I relax my hands, try to bump. Look, my head doesn't go to the ground because I'm not too up like before, too high, right? But if I want just to control, it's fine to stay here, no problem. But let's say I don't want to control, there's somebody come here that, you know, can be a threat and can be aggressor too. So I want to avoid that, and I will come back. What I'm gonna do, I will come back to the first position, and he knows that, so he knows somebody's coming to hit me or to beat me, so he is just trying to hold you. What we can do now, we need to separate his arm from you in order to stand up again. But it's not any arm, okay? It's the right arm. It's the arm behind that. Let's say he's looking to this side. What happens is, if I come to this arm, he's very likely to roll to the side that he's turning his face. So if I come here, he can just bump and put me down. So I don't go with this arm because it's easier, it's harder to get in, and also because I want to keep the post in this side, because this is probably the side he's gonna roll. So I go with another one, start to push, and then right away go to the neck like we did in the previous class, put my toes on the ground and stand up. So guys, it's important to understand that when you hear the guy holds you, you put in the pressure against his leg. If you don't want to stay here and you want to push him down, there is also always a right hand. Okay, so it's the hand that is near, is the hand of the side of the back of the neck, not the hand in front of him, because here it's hard to get in and he's gonna turn that side. So this one I broke with my forearm twisting his neck, and then I will always, once I go here, my weight already is going to this side, right? I just want him to keep focus on my hand, but I don't want to be in the middle, because like we said in the previous class, he can bump that way. I don't have how to pose. So I go here, toes on the ground, start to lift my body and stand up. Okay, so hope you guys like this one, and I see you in the next class. If you didn't see the previous class about the mount position, watch, because it's very important, all the basics, how you should behave in a self-defense situation. Even if you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you understand the sports side of jiu-jitsu, it's important to understand that in an MMA or in a real situation, self-defense situation, there is some difference that are very important to understand to be efficient. Okay, thank you guys.